Hey, it's Ray. I wanted to post a video. It's going to be to one of my other accounts that I don't really upload videos on, but right now my account is on the fritz because of, you know, the prostitute who got upset for me calling her out for her own past chances and choices in life. But I wanted to speak a little bit on our goddess queen female who spoke up on our rights on a regular basis and police brutality, Miss Korryn Gaines. A lot of us know she was shot in the head, and her 5-year-old son was also shot. And she had been pretty much similar to a lot of us who speak on things like us women do with Sandra Blake. Okay. So we have our Sandra Blaine, we have Korryn, we have a lot of these women. We have even me. I have been told on a regular basis by people who disrespect me or dislike me or don't approve of me that I'm going to be another one of them with a bullet in my head or a bullet in my heart or whatever the case makes them feel better about themselves whenever we speak up regularly and unapologetically about our own people and for our own people who cannot do the same. Now, this woman was very well aware of the situation that our black men face more so than anybody, and she spoke on it regularly, and she constantly recorded it. And before they decided to put a bullet in her head and a bullet into her 5-year-old child, because, you know, the children are our future, the police department or FBI, you know, one and the same, they decided to delete her Facebook accounts right beforehand. We can pretend that was coincidence, whatever the case. We can also pretend that she was not filing charges for the police incarcerating her illegally and not feeding her or allowing her to call anyone or let them know where she was for 2 days in a row, leading on to her suing, which is why she had felt some kind of way and felt the need to treat the police a certain kind of way. I myself would like to at least speak up on one situation where, had it been today, with the circumstances going on today with the piggies, I would have also been in the same situation. I remember the day, it was my birthday, so it was June 23rd, and my boyfriend at the time had taken me out to a Mexican restaurant and to play pool somewhere, and a couple of my girlfriends had decided to meet us up there, and they wanted to take me somewhere else, and he didn't have the money, so he was feeling some kind of way. He acted a certain kind of way, and I ignored it, and he took off and drove off. I looked over at the window because it was a clear window, and I saw his little 5'4" ass just staring. I walked outside to ask what his problem was, and he almost ran me over with his truck. I left it alone, but I told the girls, you know, just drop me off at the house. And we were neighbors. We lived a couple of duplexes away from each other. So the kids were at his house because he had a babysitter there, which was his brother at the time. They drank a bottle of liquor before I even met up with them. I was banging on the door, give me my kids, blah, 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 give me my kids, yada, yada, yada. And then I was asking, what's your problem, what's your problem? Why are you acting like this? You know, same old bullshit that a lot of us go through. And instead of coming out and speaking to me, because he has a fetish for Becky bitches, he decided to just call the police. And me being who I was 27 years ago or so. I think I was about 24. He called the cops on me, and me being me, I was like, oh, you're going to call the cops on me? And I didn't even give you a reason. Let me give you a motherfucking reason, while he was on the phone with the 911 operator. So I grabbed the bottle of liquor that him and his brother were drinking. And I was like, here's a reason, motherfucker. And I busted his window. And he was like, see, you hear her, yada yada. So 2 white male skinhead police officers came out. And I was in the house by then, after he finally got my 2 kiddos at the time out, and he carried them to the house for me. Or I carried one, he carried the other. They were the same age. My kids are only 7 months apart. So that happened. And then they got there and they were banging on the door, and a lot of the officers, they will say things to you so that they can agitate you to make you act a motherfucking donkey. And they were like, what kind of mother acts like this in front of her kids? And I'm like, the kind of mother who knows her kids are asleep, bitch. Why don't you do me a favor and suck this motherfucker's dick in front of me? I'll watch, motherfucker. I'll watch. And that's the type of mouth I had with the police officer. And they're like, I think you need to come out and step outside and say that to us and blah, blah, blah. I said, bitch, I'll bet I will. I'll come outside. I'll come right the fuck outside right now and say it to your fucking face. Don't come outside, ma'am, or we're going to have to arrest you in front of your kids. Well, then get the fuck off my property. How about that? And then after, I think, 20 or 30 minutes of me basically just cussing them out and telling them to give each other fellatio, they left. And there was no arrest made or anything. But that was one of those situations to where had I have gone out there, they could have easily beat the dog shit out of me, knocked my fucking teeth out like one of my aunts that they did. We all, as far as the Native American community, the African American community, the Mexican American community, Latino American, whatever Americans that are non-white, Europeans, we all have these stories to tell. But a lot of us are so indoctrinated that we convince ourselves it's our fault or our own people's faults or just happenstance. And I have purposely, like I do with a lot of these situations, I stay the fuck from watching the videos or from reading the things that people have to say about it. But this time it really upset me because it was naturally indoctrinating motherfuckingly a lot of the black men who had an issue with it and said she should have done this, she should have done that. And a lot of us black women, we have our black men's back regardless, no matter what. I love black men. You can't tell me shit about black men because I know the situation that y'all are in, the situation y'all been forced in. The whole dope dealer and rapper bullshit that a lot of everybody does. You think the rap game is to escape, the dope game is to sustain and just live, to make a fucking way because of Reaganomics and Nixon and them that put us in this situation. So I don't fault black men for this shit and the child support fucking game that's set up against y'all. But to see on a regular basis a lot of men sit here and try to make excuses and justify this woman's bullet to the head, forgetting the fact that her 5-year-old child has a bullet through him too. I don't know what justification I can make for us anymore. I do know one thing. It coulda, woulda, shoulda been me. Maybe in a week or two. Maybe a little longer. Maybe never. But with all the stuff I do and I try to do for my people, for the kids in the neighborhood, for just speaking up online on social media and in real life for the babies, feeding a bunch of babies and taking in a bunch of women and their kids, just because I give a shit about us, it's really scary and sad to see that none of that's going to make a damn difference based on my mouth, based on my attitude. That's fucking it, man. I ain't got shit else to say.